Well, here we are, late of evening. We should be in the house finding something for dinner, but I got stuff to do. So, thought I'd try to shoot a video about some stuff I've learned here recently while I'm getting some things done. Hopefully you'll be able to hear over the screw gun. I don't know where my little one went. I was in town today and got a Facebook message. I'm on a page that watches for swarms and cutouts and things. So they posted up there was one in the town that I was in. I said, well, I can go take a look at it. And I'm busy as all get out. We're leaving in 20 days or something to drive halfway across the country. And I got bee stuff to do, but of course you gotta go look at these. So there are 3 of them, 3 colonies working this house. So it's gonna be a major cutout. But we can go from the inside, looks like. The outside's gonna be hard, but they need to remodel inside, so it's lath and plaster, but as long as I don't have to put it back together, it's okay. It's just a mess. So I'll probably get my buddy Dave to help me with that, and he may end up doing the whole thing, just because I'm going to run out of time. But what I wanted to talk about, I learned some stuff about yellow jackets. I was hunting another video, which if anybody has seen it, can remember who in the heck did it, and let me know in the comments. It'd be great. There was a video about propolis, where they had done a test with propolis, a couple hundred hives in each test. One had smooth inside of the box, the other they put a mesh screen in there so that the bees ended up putting propolis on the entire inside of the box. In 2 years they killed all the bees and tested them for viruses and bacterias and funguses and all the bad things that bees get. And the colonies that had all of the propolis in them had almost no disease at all in the colony. The other ones were at the same levels you would expect that most colonies have. Not necessarily out of control, but it was still there. So if anybody remembers who did the video on that, it was about a study done at one of the colleges, I'm pretty sure. And could let me know, that'd be great. I've got a guy that wants to see it. So otherwise, I watched some video on hornets and yellow jackets. As I was looking for that video, I was on the National Honey Show channel, which if you haven't been there, it's got great lectures on honeybees. This lecture was on hornets. And so what I found goes along with what I had suspicion of to a degree, but then there was more. And I have to admit I didn't finish watching the entire video because it was really late and I had gotten some good information. But what I found in that video was that yellow jackets and hornets, as we know, they start with just a queen. She overwinters and then she comes out and finds a place to start a colony. She lays a few eggs, gets the colony started. Then when those emerge, all she does is lay eggs. So it makes perfect sense that we don't see a lot of yellow jackets till later in the season because they haven't built up their numbers yet. So we also know that the hornets and yellow jackets are carnivorous. They are after meat. We call them meat bees here. So that protein, just as in honeybees, gets fed to the brood. the worker hornets, just like honeybees, need syrup. They need carbohydrates, not protein. So the way that the yellow jackets work is they feed the protein straight to the brood in the form they bring it in. Doesn't get chewed up, mixed with anything. They get the straight chunk of protein. Well, the larvae secrete a ball of syrup as they digest that. And the adult bees consume that syrup from the larvae so that they get their carbohydrates. Well, when you get into late summer, they go to making their queens and drones. So the queen stops laying worker brood and she lays drones and queens. Well, they don't secrete the same amount of the syrup for them to eat, so they start getting hungry. Then, after the queen has laid a bunch of those, she quits laying. So the colony starts to run out of brood. And at that point is when we start seeing the robbing from the yellow jackets trying to get into the colonies to steal honey. Because that's what they need. They don't have food in their colony anymore to feed them. And at some point, they stop even spending much time or even returning to the colony because there's nothing there for them. They just buzz around trying to find something to stay alive with and to feed. That's why they get frantic, and they're trying to get the syrup, the sugar. So, with that thought in mind and understanding a little more how they work, we can start our poison in July when they're starting to get their numbers up. That poison in the protein in a tuna fish or whatever we mix it into is going to kill the brood. So what we're going to expect is that as that brood's dying, the yellow jackets that are alive, if they're not dying, are going to get more hungry for syrup. So if we've got some syrup in that mix with the protein, they're going to be coming back and feeding on it. But if we can wipe out those nests as they're trying to create queens and drones, we should be able to get great control for the next year. So that was just, I thought that was interesting information, and we'll use it to work on some control next year. It's a little late this year. There isn't a lot of point in feeding poison to them if they're already as good as dead. It's kind of like spraying a weed after it went to seed. Sometimes it makes you feel good, but doesn't accomplish much. But if you are having bad robbing problems with the hornets and the yellow jackets, getting that tuna fish off to the side with some syrup in it can attract them and just get them away from the hives that they're trying to get into to steal honey. So if we can keep them preoccupied so they're not tearing up the colonies, that's always good. Anyhow, I'll leave you with that. And tomorrow I've got my youngest grandson. So we're going to try to get out here, maybe spin some honey. He's like 8 months old, so he's not a hell of a lot of help. And sometimes he'll sit there happy, and sometimes he's not. So we'll see what we can get done, but we're going to try to spin some out.